doesn't matter who your favorite artists are. If they are famous, they've had to do this one thing to stand out. I've selected some of my favorite ones to show you exactly what I mean.
Oh yeah!
So we've got Gawx, Jung Gi, and Moebius. Their art looks very different from one another, but they're actually very similar artists. What they have in common puts them in the top 1% of artists. And it's as simple as this. They have found their art style. As beginners, we spend all our time learning from books and trying to improve our technical skills. But in reality, what we really want is to find our style. But how do you start? And is it even that important? And how do you even know when you found it? These are the questions I'm going to try to answer in this video. In my view, there's only one way to start any challenge. This is what I call artwork zero. You see, the only way to set yourself up for success is to have a clear way to measure progress. And this is exactly what artwork zero does for us. As we develop our own style over time, we will measure our progress against it. So this artwork needs to be a fair representation of where we truly are at artistically right now. So there's a few rules to follow to make artwork zero. You should do no planning, use no references, and allow no external influences to guide you other than your previous works. So give it your best, but try to be honest with yourself. Because once you have finished, we're going to play it back from the beginning. We're looking to observe our process and write down each step that we took into one of these 4 quadrants. I promise it's simple. Did it feel good or feel bad? And does it look good or does it look bad? To you, this is all subjective. For example, in my case, the sketching phase feels quite good, even though I don't necessarily like how it looks like. On the other hand, when I clean up my inks, I both like how it feels and how it looks like. I also enjoy composition, and it's not until I get to the coloring phases and afterwards that the problems start to arise. So try to do this for yourself. And you should see a correlation between what you don't like doing and what takes you the most time. Look at this. After just a couple of hours, the majority of the decisions are done and the ink work is final. Yet it took me over 13 hours to finish this piece.
Oh, cats.
The vast majority of the time was spent doing this, going back and forward on my decisions on color and on lighting. So in my case, to find my own art style, I want to focus on the feel bad column, trying to learn new ways to do these things until I land on something that actually feels good. And it's only once my feel bad column is empty that I can start focusing on making everything look good as well. We've got a structure, but it's going to be a lot of work. So it begs the question, is finding your art style really that important? It's a fair question, because before I put so much effort in this, I need to be convinced that it's worth it. And to me, the argument that having your own art style puts you in the top 1% of artists is meaningless. Yes, all successful artists you can name have found their own art style. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the reverse is true. And also, I don't do art because I want to be successful. I do it because I like it. But there is actually a very convincing reason why it is 100% worth it to put all you've got in finding your art style. Because even if the journey will be long and difficult, your art style is coming with you. It was actually there already all along, waiting to be noticed.
Oh yeah.
What I just said is an important mindset shift that changed how I see everything. You're not on a journey to find your art style, you're on a journey to shape it. What you expose yourself to will sculpt a facet of your evolving style. What you choose to explore will bring its own surprises. And your curiosity will shape just as much as your decisions of where to go next. Thinking that finding your style is like a goal that can be achieved and checked off your list is exactly the type of thinking that will have you spinning in circles. It will keep you busy working hard but without leading you anywhere. You'll be chasing it forever while staying exactly where you were before. But if instead we zoom out and acknowledge that the value of finding your art style, it's not in the outcome of having one, but in the process of putting it together, then your decisions will be wildly different. You will stop making decisions based on the quality of the result, like what 99% of people do. Instead, you will start making decisions based on the quality of the experience itself. I'm seeing this with these videos I make. I haven't found my style of filmmaking yet. If I wanted results, I would make talking head videos, because they're proven to work and I would be able to pump out new ones every week. But if I focus on the experience of making videos, I realize that I don't like that. It's not me. Focusing on whether you enjoy the process makes you understand yourself better. It makes you understand what makes you tick, what leaves you wanting to do more of. And if you're a creative person, you know that that is exactly the type of feeling to live for. Question 3. How do you know you found your art style? You will know it when you get there. That is exactly the kind of advice I hate. I want a reliable way to tell, or at least a useful metric to track. And I've actually got two that are related. An external one that can be measured is speed. And an intrinsic one, an internal one that you have to feel, is confidence. The speed and confidence I currently have in the sketching and inking part, I'm going to try to seek that in any new techniques I learn for the other steps of the process. That's when I know I found it. But how do I select new techniques to learn? Well, when you're learning something new, it's always going to look bad at the beginning. That's why we focus on whether it feels good to do it, so that we can try and enjoy practicing it until eventually it looks good too. But while the feel good part we have no way to tell until we try it, the look good part we can assess in advance. So I made a list of artists that use coloring or lighting or rendering techniques, so everything that is in my feel bad column, in a way that looked impressive to me. I added a score of how accessible it is to learn from them. What I'm looking for here is free or paid access to process videos of their art. I over-engineered the shit out of this list, and I'm going to deep dive into each one of these artists, one after the other. And for each one, I will make a dedicated video to share everything I learned. Together, these videos will make up a series documenting my journey to find my art style. And to kick off this series, you will see me in the first video struggling to figure out the rendering secrets of WLOP, this amazing Chinese artist that coincidentally is a full-time engineer that does art on the side like me. And the way that he paints armor and jewelry is impressive to me, because it looks kind of hyper-realistic at first glance, but if you zoom in, you realize that he gave only the impression of detail, without much detail at all. I put a lot of effort in this video. I even wrote to the guy. WLOP. And the result is impressive, but let's just say that what I learned is not what I expected. If you have any suggestions of artists that you'd like to see me cover, please let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to solve the secret riddle that I hid in this video. I flashed it on screen at minute 3.